Good morning, diners, and welcome to the Winter Solstice special edition of the Collapse Morning Wake Up Call and the cooking zone of the diner. And to start off with, let's see what our brunch is this morning. Okay. Or morning, afternoon, depends on where you live on the world, right? Around the world. Or it might be nighttime, okay? Or it might be another day. Who knows? At any rate, for this special brunch for myself this morning, I fixed up my special RE chili, okay? Homemade. And we are having an avocado egg boat. Okay, can you see that? Alright. You just drop yourself a soft or hard boiled egg or medium boiled into the hole where the pit was for the avocado. Okay, and it's delicious. It's a great combination. But the pièce de résistance, the most important part of any Sunday brunch, is the loaded Bloody Mary. Okay? See that? Alright, and this Bloody Mary features little potatoes and bacon on one skewer, and Kalamata olives, and pimento stuffed olives, and garlic stuffed olives. I'm not sure I got the right order there because I wasn't looking at it. Yeah, I think I did. On the other skewer, okay, and that will be delicious. And then we're also having pure Alaskan glacial water, okay, the best water in the world, very clean, and there's plenty of it. Glaciers are going to take quite a bit of time to melt, so I'm not too worried there. And then you should always use sea salt, fresh ground, and fresh ground pepper to taste with your meals. Okay, don't use any of those ground up stuff. Okay. All right, now let's get to the topics of the day, and probably we got three really interesting ones ongoing in the world of collapse, and that would be first off, the Anglo-Amerikan meltdown in the political structure of both countries. That would be Anglo-American means England and America, and it's kind of a symbiotic relationship of empire building and then empire collapse. The Brits started it, then the Americans took over, and now the whole ball of wax is coming apart at the seams. Okay, over across the pond in jolly old England, Boris Johnson got reelected, and he is now set and determined to yank Britain out of the European Union with the Brexit by the end of January. And of course, they've been saying this for 3 years, and there's still no Brexit, right? So what are the odds that they'll have to kick the can down the road again, regardless of what Bojo says? I can't make those odds. I really don't know. I have no fucking idea what's going to go down. But he did get a majority in the parliament, so he's really an official prime minister. And Jeremy Corbyn, the Labour candidate on the so-called left, got his ass kicked, okay? And you see this continuing drift rightward in almost all of the countries in Europe, and then also here in the fascist states of America. If you haven't noticed, the other main political Kabuki Theater that's ongoing is Donald Dietrich Trumpovetsky's impeachment, which went through the Congress and now has to be moved to the Senate. However, the Democrats are delaying on this move, waiting for the repugnants who control the Senate to explain what the rules are going to be, all right, for this little adventure. And it's not looking like it's going to be much of a fair trial. It's just a dog and pony show overall. Mitch McConnell, the leader of the repugnant party over in the Senate, is working hand in glove with the White House in terms of setting this thing up. And so, we know he's going to get exonerated, or he won't be found guilty. Okay, I don't think you can really call it an exoneration, and so we'll then have to move on to 2020 elections, and then in those terms, the 2020 elections, the formerly enormous group of candidates that was, I think, over 20 at one point, has now contracted, whittled down, and the wheat is separating from the chaff, and we probably have 4 viable candidates. There were, I think, 7 on stage this time, as opposed to the bigger stages with 10, and then 2 nights on a couple of them, I believe. You've got in the lead roles as sort of the top 3, and they keep shifting spots. You've got Joe Biden, who's the right-wing Democrat, the really right-wing Democrat. And then on the left of far right, but not left of center, it's right of center. You have Liz Warren and what's his name? It's escaping me now. Oh, Bernie Bernie Sanders on the other side, or they're both the liberal progressive wing, so to speak, that have a chance to win in this nomination contest. And then finally, in the top 4, you've got Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who is the right-wing alternative to Joe Biden. And they're both not too far left of really right, okay? And both are corporate pawns, and Pete has gotten blasted for a recent fundraiser that he did in a wine cave or wine cellar owned by some ultra-rich folks. And Liz Warren called him out for that on stage in the debate. And, he countered, well, how the fuck else am I going to raise money, right? Okay. So anyway, bought and paid for. They're all bought and paid for in one way or the other. And so, there'll be another debate, and then starting, I believe, in February, we will have the first of the primaries in Iowa, or no, it's caucus, not a primary. And we'll see what shakes out in that, right? And then move our way along to November. And in tandem with that, we will have, for a while, the impeachment show trial that goes on. And the last thing I want to cover for today is the wildfires that are ravaging Oz, and most specifically New South Wales, where I lived for a portion of my life in my teen years, and it is absolutely out of control down there. The temperatures have been hitting close to 50 degrees Celsius. That's in the 120s in the Fahrenheit scale for us old-timers here in America that still use Fahrenheit and are familiar with it. And we've got a diner, John of Willan, who lives in Oz and is fighting to save his doomsday. And we all wish him the best and hope he stays safe and gets the fuck out of Dodge if he has to. All right? You know, it's better to leave a collapse zone like that a day early and then to leave a minute too late. All right? You know, it gets unsafe to drive with all the smoke and the fire and all the stuff, and you can get roasted in your own car. I myself live in a similar area, although we're not as dry right now as Australia is. We have had bad fires in the summers, though. This year we had real big ones, but they didn't hit my area in the Matanuska Susitna River Valley. And they didn't hit Anchorage, and they didn't hit Fairbanks. And those are the three major population centers in the state. Otherwise, there's like nobody if you go out into the bush. On the edge of the coast, you have native villages all over the place. And then in the far north, far north, you have the North Slope, where they drag up the oil for who knows how much longer. Anyway, the nights are long and dark, and it's going to be a couple of months before we start to have reasonable periods of daylight. Right now, here where I live, we get about 6 hours worth of daylight at this time of year, from about 10 in the morning until about 4 p.m. And all the rest of the time it's dark. But then it reverses itself during the summer solstice. All right. I hope you're all enjoying this time of year, and that you have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and eat well. I'm going to make a special dinner for myself on Christmas Eve, and I might make a broadcast on that as well. All right, that's all to do. This time, until next time, here on the Doomsday Diner. Hasta la Bloody Mary. Now it's time for me to eat.